Looks like the last stream failed. Hopefully I don't lose it again. Shouldn't be on Wi-Fi. I think I'm on. I don't like these iPhones. iPhones kind of suck, in my opinion. See, did I lose the connection? Should be on off the Wi-Fi now and onto the local connection. Well, has it disconnected yet? All right, cool. Here is our carburetor. Pretty much got out. I'm trying to take the mid body off, and looks like we have some stripped out hardware there. Screw if it would zoom in. Got those. I think those are 2mm Allens. Those are stripped out, and then I was able to get three Phillips out. Those usually don't come in, and that one's stripped out. So I'm going to use my impact driver here, and hopefully I have some better luck with it. Okay. Let's see. iPhone still has connectivity. All right, cool. So live streaming. All right. Let's go ahead and see if we can extract this one. Nope. Fuck. It's not what I was hoping for. Could do this too, though. Got one other trick up my sleeve. Use a little bit of heat. Be very careful doing this. Hopefully I don't blow up the carburetor right now. We'll find out if there's gasoline in it or not. It's going to kind of heat up this portion of the body right here. Okay. It's probably Loctite on it. That's probably why. Not really supposed to Loctite these. Let's see if that helps. All right. Better come out right now. It's like barely any grip. Got it? Yeah, got it. Yeah, these screws right here are kind of boogered up. Might have cross-threaded them. Oh, shoot. What am I getting myself into on this carburetor job? Oh, wasn't even recording on the GoPro. All right. So now I got to try to get those out right there. Hopefully I don't have to drill. I'm going to try using heat. I'm just going to use a bunch of heat. If not, I'm going to have to drill them and put in an extractor. I should be able to get them with the extractor, but if I could save time, getting them out by hand, that would be best. Don't typically like to use heat on a carburetor, but sometimes you really have no choice. Let's see if I can get lucky here. I think these are really stripped. Maybe go with the standard size. No, these things are... Nope. All right, I'm screwed. I'm going to have to go get my extractor kit, and we're going to have to actually drill these out, which I really didn't want to do. Okay. I got a nice, like, $400 Snap-on extractor kit that I'm going to have to go grab. Be right back, guys. 1 second. All right. I'm back. Got the fancy Snap-on extractor set. See if I can make this happen. Shoot, this is the smallest size they make. Ugh. These are all nice left-hand threaded, left-hand drill bits. So you gotta make sure you go in the right direction, you'll destroy them. Okay, let's try drilling this. Okay, same thing on this one. The whole trick is to hold it as straight as possible. It's a good thing nobody else tried drilling these, so we're the first ones to drill through it, even though they have a stripped out head. Okay, these are good drill bits too. It helps to use oil to preserve the tools. Go back to the other one. Just as it gets hot, it'll kind of dull in the drill bit. So try to do it while it's kind of cold. See it nicely taking out those ribbons of material there. Okay, that's getting pretty kind of deep. This one too, a little bit more on this one. Okay. Starting to get pretty deep. I don't think my smallest extractor will fit into this, but we can see. We can try it. Let's see if I have, I think I need a crescent that goes super small. Here we go. Good old Craftsman. All right, and we're just gonna fill it. If it doesn't feel like it wants to go, then I'm gonna apply some heat. Oh, nope, there it goes. Look at that. Oh, simple. Oh, very nice. Looks like it's taking the whole thread out with it, hopefully. There it is. Woo! Look at that. So one screw down, perfectly drilled. Ooh. All right, cool. Let's see if we can get our next one. Hopefully it comes out just as easy. Let's see. Yep. Ooh. Oh, crap. Looks like it broke off the head on that one. Let's see, this should now separate in theory. Boom, look at that. Oh yeah, there is no way this thing was gonna run. Look at that. This is what the mid-body gaskets look like after, 20 years. Look how deteriorated they are. So there is no way that's gonna run right there. Basically, the screw we're trying to get out holds this on, the velocity stack. And it looks like it came out, and we still have the partial screw, but just look at that right there. There's no way that was sealing. That's why it looks like junk. Wow. You guys watching that with me? Let's see. Is there any? Yeah, we got two people in the chat. Yeah, that's the trick right there. Not too many people go this far, but on these older, like early 2000 dirt bikes, depending on how the carburetor was serviced, usually these gaskets here get destroyed. So even if you were to clean it, rebuild it, still runs like crap. It's usually because you got to replace and rebuild the mid-body gasket. So now I'm going to go ahead and try to extract that screw right there. If I can't, shoot, you can't get this part separate if I'm not mistaken. You'd have to replace the whole carburetor. These carburetors are discontinued, and when they were new, they were probably close to around 1,200 bucks. So I'm gonna see if I can try to save this right here. See if I can nicely extract this without ruining the part. And then looks like our carburetor, it's pretty bad condition. It's gonna need extra, Usually when I charge for like a carburetor rebuild, that's for like something that's, at least in serviceable condition that hasn't been tampered with. This carburetor is in very poor condition and it's been messed with. So it's probably going to cost, besides the parts to rebuild it, it's going to cost, probably almost an extra 3/4 of an hour in time to fully disassemble the mid body, clean it. That time is going to be added on to what I would normally charge for a carburetor rebuild. And that's typically not on most carburetors. That's going to be on these FCRs for most of your performance race bikes. So that's just what it is. I don't always have to do this, but when I do, that's just, the price of rice if you want your bike to run correctly. And I can guarantee that was the main issue that this customer was experiencing. Okay, so let's see if we can kind of save that there. Okay, got a little hole. Let's see if we can go a little bit deeper. Looks like we can go about that deep before we drill through it. So it looks like we got a little bit more we can go. There it goes, making some ribbons, pulling some chips. Try and do this as straight as possible without damaging the threads. Let's see if I can get it without it being too thin. If you drill all the way through, sometimes it'll break off. You have to like drill it just ever so carefully when you're working with these smaller bits here, these smaller hardware. Okay. Oop. Maybe not deep enough, just a little bit deeper. Oop. Hopefully we just didn't drill through. Okay, cool. Looks like we just pushed through into the opening. So we probably went through the screw right there. That's what that was. Now what I might want to do too is heat this up one more time. Kind of heat it up. That should be good. All right, so this might be a little hot. Drop it right there. Clamp it up. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and see it being nice and hot. Hopefully we can kind of Oh, I think I got it. Yes, sir. So that's all those years of skill right there. Boom. Got the remaining part of the thread without damaging the internal threads here. Wow. Cool. I never fail to impress myself. Hopefully we can, I have a tap that small. I believe I have a tap that small. and I can clean out those threads and make this brand new. So that's good. So now at this point, we are back in business. I can go ahead and clean these parts here and should be able to make this carburetor brand new. That was really nice. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and clean up now, and then we can go ahead and get our parts ready to soak. All right, cool. Very nice. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me during this part right here. I'm going to go ahead and clean up just a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and get these carburetor parts. Now they got the carburetor fully disassembled. I'm going to go ahead and get these into our uh, parts cleaning tanks right here. Oh man, look at that. Just there is no way that this bike was going to run. There was just no way. Impossible. Even if I cleaned the carburetor, put, new jets in it, I already know just from seeing how it was, there was like a high probability that even if I did a basic clean on the carburetor, it still wasn't going to run right. And that's just from all my years of experience. I've had this problem before where I've done a really good job cleaning these bikes and they still don't want to run right. And it's like, well, the engine's good, this is good. Why isn't the bike running right? And this is the reason why the bike's not running right. And most people don't do this unless you have a lot of experience with these FCR carburetors. Technically, you're not supposed to service this area. And I wouldn't say you would need to for like the first 10 years, but definitely, after 10 years, this needs to be rebuilt here. And it also depends on what type of fuel and what type of cleaning solvents you're using to clean your carburetor. All right. So go ahead and clean up these tools here. Nice. Very nice. Good times. All right, cool. It's kind of warm today, a little bit foggy down here in Southern California. A little bit of extra chemtrail up in the sky as it appears. If you guys believe in that kind of stuff. Air quality just looks like, it's 2, almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it looks like, the fog from early in the morning. Doesn't seem quite normal. It doesn't appear to be actual, like, smog, from all the pollution in the vehicles. It just looks like it came out of nowhere and it kind of came from the air, if you know what I mean. Very interesting. But yeah, like to basically, once I'm done working on one specific part of a bike, I always like to clean up, get all those tools put away. Just have the work area a lot cleaner. Makes it a lot easier to kind of know what you're doing, not misplace things, work a little bit more efficient. Yeah. What's going on? Let me check the chat. Got anybody in the chat? Nope. Looks like we got 5 people in the stream. What's going on, guys? Everybody cool? Everybody good? Having a wonderful Saturday afternoon doing carburetor rebuilds with me. Nothing like having a cold energy drink. Very nice stuff. All right. Got so many tools out. All right. So, get all this stuff put away. Yeah, it takes a lot of tools to work on these bikes. I mean, I want to say the majority of the tools that I have, probably had for about 13 years now. And I've collected most of them when I was younger. When I first started working on bikes, because you just realize from the very beginning, the very get-go, uh, you just need certain tools for certain jobs to make it that much more quicker and efficient. Heck's this? Piece of rubber of some sort. I'm not even sure where that came from. Oh, I think that was part of the accelerator pump. All right, cool. So I'm not going to be putting this carburetor back together right now. I ordered the rebuild kits for it yesterday. I ordered a all balls rebuild kit and then an all balls mid body kit. So once those parts come in here, hopefully by about Wednesday this upcoming week, then I can go ahead and make a follow up, get the get the carburetor put back together and try to get this bike started up. And as long as that top end on the bike's good, if you guys were paying attention in part one, I was kind of going over the bike a little bit and just making comments about how it looks like the top end on the bike had been rebuilt. And the customer even said, yeah, he had like one of his friends or something like that rebuild the top end on it. So we'll find out. Could just be hopefully it doesn't need more than a carburetor rebuild, but if it does, that's customer brought it to me asking for a carburetor clean. So we're going to do what the customer wants. And if it needs more, it needs more. And if it doesn't, then that's great. It'd be nice to get this bike going. Let's see. Wow. And I'm going to save one of these little screws here. Or I guess I could wait until once the rebuild kits come in. They'll have new screws and I can check to see if I actually have. This looks like an M3 tap. I don't even think, actually, I don't think I have anything that goes that low. Might have to measure it and figure that part out. Okay. And then what am I going to work on after this? After I finish this WR450 here with the getting these parts put into the carb cleaning tank, I want to say the next bike that we're going to work on is that KLX 400. I told the customer that we would do a diagnostics on it and figure out if we got a, he thinks it needs a top end, but I just like to make sure, get a pretty good idea before I, spend all the time taking it apart and it looks perfectly fine to the eyeball without measuring. But if it does, have low compression or, just sounds weird or whatever, then yeah, whatever. Customer already proved a top end teardown, so that's exactly what we will be doing. And that'll be a fun one. Kawasaki's are kind of a cool bike to work on. They are very similar, to all the other bikes. They're all kind of the same, but Kawasaki does like to use their own technologies. They like to do like little weird things that makes them different than say like a Honda or a Yamaha. And every bike has like their own technology, but Kawasaki's R&D, they're always, I wouldn't say reinventing the wheel, but they're always trying to come up with something new. Like most of the Japanese factories, they're always trying to improve their product. But very cool stuff. All right, nice and clean. Clean tools make a happy mechanic. Good tools make a happy mechanic. Getting paid enough to buy good tools makes a happy mechanic. Definitely, without a doubt. All right, what do we got? We got this right here. This is where these come from. Those are for our cover. Don't want to get this guy's parts mixed around. I've got a lot of carburetor parts here just to take this thing apart. It's a good thing this isn't my first rodeo, and I've done about probably at least 100 or more of these carburetors now in, I'd say, the last 15 years. So pretty much, you could give me all these parts right here, and I could probably almost put it back together blindfolded at this point. Parts, only kind of go one area. I've had so many different carburetors. I've picked up on, which ones are good and which ones, oh, that's irregular. Just like right now, doing the mid body, I had a really good idea that the mid body was going to be in bad condition, and checked out, it was in bad condition. That KLX 300, if you guys are watching, same thing on that. The carburetor on that one, after I rebuilt it, it was doing some weird stuff after I put the JD jetting kit in, and I realized that there was a little washer that I had to install. to make the bike actually turn on and run good. So it's just having, that experience that makes all the difference in between, wasting time or not even be able to finish the job because, wouldn't necessarily say incompetent, but just lack the experience in, all those little things. I've pretty much seen almost everything you can do to a carburetor, servicing ones that are in good condition to, carburetors that people have tampered and done some weird stuff to and, kind of reverse engineered. And, what made them want to go this route and doing this modification in the carburetor. And eventually I figure it out. And, that's just how it is. Okay. All right, just a little bit cleaner. Let's kind of get our area kind of a little bit more organized here. But kind of get an idea. And I don't really want to contaminate this is a new parts washer dip here. So maybe I'll use my older one to kind of get all those metal chunks out. And the metal chunks should fall to the bottom and get stuck in all the stuff. And then these parts right here that are a little bit cleaner, you can go ahead and put those, kind of put these in first, I'm thinking. Put that in. Kind of really want to remove these hoses off the carburetor before I put it in. Oh, GoPro battery died. Shoot. Yeah, I don't need to necessarily show this part though. Just taking off the hoses. Watching me struggle taking off the hoses. That was stabbing myself. Okay. All right, boom. Boom. Just this last one. All right, very nice. So now, this last thing I'll do, I'll take off the idle cable here, idle adjustment cable, just so the fluid doesn't get inside there. Sometimes these will get water or, whatever cleaning solution or solvent you're using, kind of corrode the inside. So I usually take that off. And pretty much the carburetor in this condition, if you want to go a step further, you could take off the wheel here. That would just basically involve you taking off this screw, but judging by looking at it and how it feels, shouldn't be necessary. We'll just put a little bit of grease there on the end. Should be fine. Or maybe we should go that extra step. Shit. At this point, I might as well. I'm charging the guy extra, so what wouldn't be a full carburetor rebuild without fully taking it apart and greasing the inside there? Might as well. So we'll take that off. Okay, and then that's going to want a spring. Kind of take this out. There's going to be washers on it. Looks like it's a plastic and I think a metal. Yeah, it goes metal then plastic. Let's go like that. Not a big deal. So now that is the carburetor 100% disassembled. Put that like that. Okay, cool. That way the washers don't come off. The washers stay there. Just don't forget about them before you put this together. All right, and then see actually. Stick this in first. You can see how nasty. Hopefully this, we're going to see how well it can break it up. And let me see, I can even do this too. Take out these, if I can even. It's like nothing left of them. Just look how deteriorated this rubber was here. There was no way this bike was going to run. And everything was clogged up on it with rubber. So it's probably going to take a little bit more. We'll have to just let it sit and soak, and then we'll hit with the nylon brush and see if we can brush off all these surfaces and get all that gunk off. This is a new container of chem dip here, so it should work pretty fast. The cleaning agent. Put that in there like that. Same thing. You can just see like how nasty that is. And if you can, oh yeah, I don't even think I'm going to be able to get these out by kind of coming. Kind of see just like how broke it down it is. Yeah, so I don't want to scratch the hell out of this trying to remove these gaskets. Some of them might, if they don't come off this easily, then you want to go ahead and soak it. Sometimes you need like a hot solution in order to kind of loosen them up. And if you don't have experience in like understanding how these gaskets even get installed, I kind of stay away from this part right here because you can kind of mess up your carburetor if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, it looks like with the pick here, I'm able to get most of it out without damaging the carburetor surface. You can just tell this stuff is, I don't even think I'm gonna be able to get those ones. So I'm gonna have to let this soak for a little bit. Let this soak, then come back to it and we should be good. Try scrubbing again. Okay, there we go. That should get all nice and clean. All right. So that's sitting. Let's see if I can dunk some more parts in there. And I can get dropped in there. Whatever fits is going in. Sometimes these wheels come off here, so just kind of feel them. Feel a little grimy too. Definitely this thing needs to be cleaned. Let's see, put the pump cover in right here. Both these coasting and the accelerator pump covers. Let's kind of drop those in there. Put the slide. And that's about all I can fit. Let's try getting the gasket off of this one right here too. See, it's all super nasty, and probably hitting it with the torch didn't really help it out. So then they went from being soft and pliable to now they're kind of caked on there just a little bit. They're really, really nasty. I kind of got most of it. Yeah, so typically this isn't included with the regular carburetor clean, but definitely recommended on these older bikes, especially if they've been worked on like this. Good enough. Drop that in there. All right, and then, looks like I already stuck the body in there. I thought, well, I guess I said I was gonna rinse it out first, but I guess I just stuck it in there. Oh well, it's whatever. Okay, so just let all those parts sit. Let's see. Put that in there too. What else can I fit in there? This? Yeah, why not? Let's see if we can get this off. Put that down to hold the float in there. All right, cool. I think I got holes in these gloves here. Yeah, these things are leaking. Time for new gloves. All right, cool. Let's see what got going on here on the phone device. Brat, make sure to drop the jets behind the bench. Gotcha. Jets behind the bench. And they're gone. It's okay. We won't need those. Those are get new ones in the rebuild kit. Kind of funny though. All right, so I think I'm gonna let those sit. Got to bust out the other container still. Yeah, I'm gonna let all these parts sit right here, and then I guess I gotta change a GoPro battery, and we will be starting on the. Just drop all these parts. There are so many freaking parts on this carburetor. It's kind of ridiculous. Drop all these parts in here. At this point, can't even remember what's what. He's missing a leak jet. I gotta look that up too. Now that I remember, gotta see if the leak jet. I'm gonna wash these right here. Diaphragm, accelerator pump looks like it's good. This one looks like it's. Shoot. Is that gonna work, or should we replace that? Yeah. Looks like it's. Damn. I might need to replace this diaphragm too. Holy cow. I wonder if I can even get this still. Hopefully I can. There's like a lot of little parts on this carburetor here. You know, you give a price to a customer, yeah, it's this much to clean the carburetor and a rebuild kit, you know, thinking it's going to be good. And then you start going through and you're like, oh man, this carburetor is freaking junk. Yeah, not a big deal. You know, I'll go ahead and get all these parts cleaned up on it. It's a lot of hardware. And all the little hardware that belongs to it. Okay. Okay. I feel like I'm missing a screw. I probably dropped inside the tank. Not a big deal. I feel like most of this hardware should be replaced anyways. That should be fine. We don't need to clean that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, I'm going to let this sit, and I'm going to go ahead and change out some GoPro batteries, find a cool little spot to put the camera, and basically go ahead and come back. I need to figure out a spot to set up so we can go ahead and work on the KLX 400. That'll be kind of cool one. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I will be right back.